I've been kicked off Envy. My point of view and the point of view of the other players was really different. We have to stop it at one point. I saw it coming. They gave me a last chance. I didn't took it. I didn't want it to. So there was an agreement between those players and me. And I feel kind of better now. I guess the win-win situation. Basically, when the team kick a player, they want to get better. I don't know what happened with them. They're doing a lot of change, because we can see it now. They changed from NBK, Happy, and I think now Devil is a in-game leader. So they're actually trying everything. All the pressure is on him. So if they don't succeed, it's gonna be hard to have the mental up for the next tournaments and stuff. I think I'm bringing a lot of experience in FaZe, and when I came in the team, there was a chaos. Everyone was talking, everyone was rushing everywhere. There was like no structure. I'm just trying to use them like at their best, and that's what's gonna work for us. And it's starting to work right now. I feel like a babysitter. I come from someone who don't talk in Envy. I'm the one who's talking the most in FaZe. So it's kind of a funny situation that I have to adapt. I don't think I lost some of the fans. They're not gonna cheer for the team, obviously, because we're not 5 French. So they're not gonna cheer for the team. And you're not gonna see in the stadium, for example, a block of people cheering for FaZe. Maybe one guy here, one guy here, and one guy here cheering. But the real fans are still gonna be behind us. If everyone go together, we can have a huge fan base in the stadium.
Awesome to hear from Keo there, and I mean, stark contrast really. We get to see how far Keo has come. He sits in the upper bracket just after Envy. His ex-team have been knocked out in groups. Must be a good feeling for him. We'll see how if he can secure that spot in Lanxess now, though, as he do go up against, and undoubtedly as underdogs versus SK, Thorin, Yanko, Moses. What do we have to say about FaZe? This result versus Fnatic, let's put it into context. And I'll start with you, Yanko. A 16-14 victory, our best of 1 versus Fnatic. Does this mean FaZe are in a form where they can beat SK?
I think that's going to be a much taller task for them, simply because they have a similar playstyle to Fnatic. FaZe is a team with a lot of highly skilled individual players. They would like to get those aim duels going, and Fnatic is a team that's going to give them to you. So I think they outplayed Fnatic in that particular game, but SK has a much deeper game plan. So I feel that to beat SK, you need to have more than just pure aim.
Same kind of sentiments from you, Jason, like Fnatic, sure, SK a different kettle of fish?
Yes, I mean, we knew coming into this group that FaZe was gonna be dangerous in these BO1s. Surprising to see them beat Fnatic, but that is a playstyle that lends itself more towards you know, FaZe having success. SK is going to do a much better job of tactically, you know, positioning themselves, make sure they have their 2-on-1s, make sure all these kills gets traded. FaZe, when you have that kind of talent, you can take the brunt of those attacks from Fnatic, and if they don't work out, you actually just come out on top just because you've won that duel against an aggressive Olaf, an aggressive JW, whoever it might be. And SK will be a little bit more structured to prevent that.
Duncan, following on from what Keo said in the video, he's taking a leadership role alongside Robban. You put them up against Fallen and Zeus. Is there not a bit of a mismatch there in terms of leadership and structure?
Yeah, certainly. And also, we just haven't seen it from these guys yet. Okay, they've got the odd one map here and there. They beat Fnatic yesterday. They beat Fnatic at one map in E-League, but we haven't seen them make deep runs in tournaments. I mean, actually qualifying for this tournament was essentially the big event result they've had in the last few months. So we're still waiting to see if FaZe is a team that actually can make it deep in a major, can win best of 3 series, etc. And to even win a map off SK actually would be a big deal. I mean, this is a team that doesn't tend to lose even single maps to teams of the caliber of FaZe. They're that good at the moment. So I think this is a big step up if FaZe can do it, but it's the ultimate test for me, especially when we get into stuff like the map pool. You'll see that there's not too many places they can go.
Well, let's run with it. Keep going. Let's rock that map pool. So, I mean, SK, we say they've got a deep map pool.
Yeah.
Where do FaZe honestly want to take this?
Well, that's the issue, because if the guys from SK, who obviously have the #1 seed because they won the last major, if they choose to be Team A and they choose to ban out the first 3 maps, they can literally just dismantle most of the maps that the guys from FaZe want to go towards. So we know the permaban anyway of the guys from SK is Cash nowadays. Now, that's a map that actually FaZe probably wouldn't mind playing. They wouldn't at least mind it being in the randomizer, but that's going to be out anyway, so SK does ban that. FaZe guys ban out Overpass, a phenomenal map for SK Gaming, but SK have a very deep map pool. We know FaZe doesn't really want to play that anyway. They actually lost it to Dignitas at E-League. Now, in terms of SK, they ban out Dust 2. That's already a map that they have it in their map pool, but it's at the bottom end anyway. They replaced Cash as their permaban and put in Cash rather than Dust 2. Dust 2 was the map that yesterday FaZe beat Fnatic on. The nuke ban from FaZe, that just tells me they didn't practice it at all, because it's not actually necessarily a map that Luminosity, now SK, is going to be super strong on. Now, I think the last ban from SK probably comes in, let me see, what would you ban here?
I think it basically comes down to whether they want to ban towards their opponent's weaknesses or towards their own strength.
Because the thing is, we know that the FaZe guys are usually pretty decent on Train, but that's also a fantastic SK map, right?
They're also pretty good on Mirage, so yeah.
So they choose Mirage, which is very actually surprising.
They beat Fnatic. They had to have beaten Fnatic on it. That must be why.
Yeah, SK, yeah, that was right. That's where Fnatic were beaten by FaZe. Well, we know SK is fantastic on Mirage, so again, they've just done this themselves to get a strength of FaZe out. We've ended up on Cbble. Now, the problem here is FaZe isn't a particularly good Cbble team. This is a very middling map for them. They only would tend to beat teams who are like lesser teams in terms of top-level competition. Meanwhile, Cobblestone actually is what has joined the top tier of the SK map pool. Like, they already had the Overpass, Train, and Mirage, and then Cobble's now like the fourth map, but it's one that's been rising the last few months. And so I feel like, in the end, this is why those 3 bans are so important if you're Team A, because you can get it to a position where now you've got basically the map you wanted. Kind of crazy that of a 7-map pool, 3 haven't popped up over the course of 2 days of Counter-Strike. We still haven't seen a Mirage, we still haven't seen Cash.
We've talked that a couple times in the back. I know, I mean, my opinion is that Cobble, since you can be so safe on your T side, especially for BO1s, it's like one half where you don't have to worry about anything crazy happening to you. You can just, sit back, you can set up. It's a very safe map to just be your structured offense.
And we'll talk a bit more about that when we do have time. For now, though, it is predictions. Just some final thoughts from you, Duncan, then we'll work our way down. Yeah. Even though SK's game against G2 wasn't exactly convincing on the map, like, in the end, they did grind out those T rounds. They did get the win in that sense. Certainly faced some danger from G2 in the first half. I think that SK is going to win this. I think it's the right map for them. And FaZe have just actually been kind of lackluster for me. Like, their T side on this map, I don't buy it at all. And so I feel like SK should be able to overwhelm them and have a reasonably comfortable win on this map. Low chances of an upset, Yanko?
Yes, I agree. I'm going with SK as well. The FaZe needs some amazing individual performances from their players in order to have a fighting chance here.
It'd have to be a crazy best of 1. Jason, what about you?
I wouldn't say it's like a low chance for an upset, but I'm definitely going to take SK in this one. Oh, almost did it.
Oh, you were thinking about it.
I almost accidentally did it.
Okay, just very quickly.
SK.
What has to happen for FaZe? You've said individual performances. Does anything bad have to happen to SK, or is it literally, if FaZe are at their best, they genuinely can beat SK?
The tough part is, since like we haven't seen FaZe have that kind of structure yet. They keep telling us that they've been working on things and they've been adding it, but we haven't had enough time with them, trying to morph into this new style of team. So yeah. I think we might see some in this match.
FaZe beat this SK lineup at DreamHack Leipzig in a best of 1, but that was a situation of winning both pistols and controlling economy the whole time. I feel that it's really there's a really low chance of that happening again.
Yeah, it does sound like we're favoring SK, and of course no surprises there. Will SK top their group and head to Lanxess? We're about to find out. The questions are going to be answered by 2 friendly faces. It's Pansy and Blue to guide you through all of the action.
Thank you very much, Alex, on the desk. A bit of a condemning desk to a degree there. It certainly is looking pretty favorable for SK coming into this one, especially on this map. But FaZe have shown they do have some grit and some determination, and there are win conditions in place that could create a bit of a competitive game here. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, coming into this one, SK, here's the thing, is most of the time that they played it as of late, it's been against fairly like middle-of-the-line North American teams, playing it a lot at Austin. The last time they actually played it on LAN, after a quick check on HL TV, was actually back at the ESL Pro League Season 3 finals, and they lost it to G2 there. So we did see, however, before that, a win in the semifinals versus NIP. So it may just be a little bit of a slump in the road there, but it's actually been quite a while since we've seen them play it versus a more high-tier European team.
Yeah, and it's hard to ignore the fact of the infamous 16-0 FaZe had to suffer against Fnatic not too long ago as well on this very map. So certainly a tough one mentally, possibly coming in for FaZe, but they look refreshed. They had a brilliant result against Fnatic previously. Now they have to face off against SK. This group was always going to provide some incredible matchups. This is going to be another one of them. SK, of course, will be starting out on the CT side. FaZe, they've got to get running hot on that T side. Blue, why don't you take us away?
And we will get into the pistol round now. FaZe needing to get themselves off to that hot start, as Moses talked about on the desk. progress. Teams don't really need to worry about anything here on the T side. It's much safer to play it, but they do still need to pick up some kills. As we get into things, FaZe move themselves over towards the entrance of Long A. A quick push in that direction. Interesting buy from Fur, as I'm sure you've noted by this point, bringing the dualies into the mix, and he needs to call for those reinforcements quickly because FaZe Clan, they're wasting no time getting towards the entrance of this site.
Fallen's just about there in the right time to be by Juliet. He's watching over. Fur needs to turn his attention around now because that play up A long is going to come into the dualies, find Keo, but that's about it. Now FaZe need to find these responses and make them pretty well counter this point. At least for now, the bomb has made its way towards the site. That's going to get planted, but look at these retake positions coming out from SK. Taco and coldzera in a good spot here. Rain, however, can cause trouble. Let's see if he can do just that.
They've surrounded the site and they're already picking up frags. Cold being able to eliminate Rain. They move in, taking more control. What they haven't seen just as of yet is Easy, hiding a little bit further back there on the entrance to Long A. And Jacob now going to start to be tested, picks up his first kill. And he's not going to be as lucky though, as he is taken down. So Jacob actually going for a bit of a maneuver here, trying to work his way around, but there's nowhere to run. He's going to be taken down by Taco, and SK will pick up the pistol.
Brilliant retake positions, well thought out as well. Fallen just getting there in time certainly helped out, but the defuse will come out and SK do get themselves on the board nice and early there. FaZe, however, do at least get a plant in this one, bringing it in relatively close to a very small margin, I guess you could argue. But again, not the start that they wanted. You go back to what YNK said on the desk. If you're FaZe, you want to be picking up those pistol rounds. You almost need them to a degree. This is such a good map, or a more comfortable map for SK. You've got to have every small piece in that puzzle in the right place.
It's just going to be the light investment this time from FaZe, saving up for the third buy round. A smoke does come in from Jacob, so they may try to just overwhelm one of these sites in hopes of getting at least a second plant to give them a little bit of a boost going on to that third round. But beyond that, they're not really going to have a whole lot of firepower to bring to the table.
Yeah, and SK again, almost going for that 4-1, a little bit more hesitant to leave Fallen all the way over by B, join the likes of FNX, coldzera, and Taco. Fur this time, again, though, being on that contact point, it looks very similar to that initial pistol coming out from FaZe, of course, as you said, with that upgraded pistols. But Fur can cause trouble, and he's wanting to do that. He has the SMG to build up that money. That's the intention behind it. He could possibly find Rain, unless a couple more come down danger. And there you go, spots out one, gets the tag towards Rain. And that's just going to really clarify for Fallen to just stick it out here. He's going to be watching that A-long push-up. Great timing on the flash. It has allowed a couple of players through. He's going to catch out Keo on the back lines, but no armor here for the T side. So this should be a quick and clean round coming in for the CTs, but a touch of damage from Rain finding Fur. But the reinforcements are on way. But Rain is not going down without a fight. Finding two himself so far. Gonna look to try and find some more, and he's almost had Taco down there, but not gonna be any more threat than that. No bomb plant this time, so SK again stabilized with 3 still standing.
Be a team ace there too from SK, being able to pick that up, but 2 losses do come in, so it is going to force some rebuys to come. Of course, they are expecting that third round buys. Pretty straightforward when you can tell, considering what FaZe Clan bought into that last round. So now they're getting prepped for it, and they're going to be pretty much ready for it. Full utility on everybody on SK. FaZe Clan buying up. They're not really going to have a whole lot themselves, but they've got the essentials to try and work their way into a site, especially if it's a pretty default B hit or something of that nature. But initially, it does look like they're shifting things over towards A yet again.
It's not, I think risky may be the wrong word here, but a dangerous play to put 4 people so instantaneously towards B. They generally like to slip Fallen back a little later into these rounds, but again, FaZe can be aggressive. They like that quick fight style. They could have called out further, but not the case. Rain doing a great job, basically trying to sell the fake, keep as many people on toward B as possible, allowing more room for FaZe to start working their way up A long, which is exactly what they're doing. But first got a good idea what's coming this way. Gonna wait, bracing for the attack, and there's AZ gone. Now can he find the rest?
That's the swipe away. Fur finds the first pickup. He's gonna round back around again, but he's got to be careful of the alley push coming his way. He should be able to hear the players pushing in his direction, but the timing on the peak is almost perfect. Finds Kiyoshima, picks up the second one on a Fox, and more trying to push their way in. It's all gone horribly though. Now Fallen's getting a piece of the action too. Able to take down Jacob. Rain's the last one standing, but won't be for very long. Picks up 1 kill, runs out of ammo in the process, and Fallen's gonna finish the job.
And that is Fur looking absolutely unfazed at all. He was so calm and collected. He knew Fallen would have that push up through middle. He was supported perfectly in that play. So again, this is sick stuff from SK. Just start out, really keep FaZe down. No build up on that T side. So losing out on that initial buy up from the gun round, from that first plant in the first, they're gonna be back down to, they can have a better go at things than that second round. So you got a Deagle or 2 there, Tech 9 P250s, but still, this is where the money starts looking good for SK, and we know they still like that double AWP, so if they start getting that rolling, if coldzera gets a couple of kills with that UMP, he's in a perfect spot. But FaZe this time, not just going to be doing that default run-up A-long that they seem to like so much, spreading out a bit, maybe hoping to get a rifle away at most, a plant at best. We'll see what they can make of this one.
Finally a shift in the action, it would seem, as they're finally putting at least a little bit of pressure towards the B site. Fox was in the B halls initially, but now he's moved back over to just outside of underpass there. Jacob gonna get mollied away. Keep in mind, of course, FaZe not really bringing a whole lot of firepower into this round. Not expecting anything too heavy from them, but there is a chance for someone to maybe surprise. Like, you can see the boost now over there, just on top of drop, but they're still not finding anything.
Yeah, and it looks like an almost standard A split trying to come through this 2x drop, trying to make some pressure towards that connector, but Fallen's having none of it. Look how calm and collected these guys are, not being challenged out, not taking needless fights, not giving up guns at this point, even with that UMP in play, not taking overzealous fights. So still, very calm. They've got the bomb. Jacob snuck up on long, but Fallen's aware. Fer needs to land the shot, getting a little bit done there by Keo. Just dances around a little longer than expected, and Fer goes back in with the USPS and gonna close out. So clean round again. They are looking very good so far, and looking at the money, it's looking pretty robust, to say the least. We've got 7K already building up on one. We've got the first AWP being dropped out. And that's actually going to go into the hands of coldzera, so he's going to be picking that one up first.
It should be noted, of course, I'm sure everybody's seen it by this point, but for those that may not be able to see it, you look at the scoreboard. I mean, Rain and Jacob currently the only two players that have even fragged as of yet for FaZe Clan. AZ, Fox, and Keo have yet to find a single one here, and SK is just absolutely destroying them when FaZe are on these eco rounds. That last one, they didn't lose a single player, so the money's so easy for them to build up in this situation because of that.
And it's such a merit-worthy thing to mention, to not lose out against pistols in any way, shape, or form, whether it be the guns or the map control, whatever you do, keeping hold of that is such a value these days. You see certain teams being substantially better than others, but this is a good display so far from SK. But we are only 4 rounds in secured, so still much more to be seen, and FaZe are back on the buy. Fox with the AWP, so looking for opportunities down by B-Long, looking for a little bit of picks, seeing if anyone's playing up by those platforms. He's got those stairs there, so maybe assuming Cold could go for a fight. He doesn't do so, so a little bit of a different start to things here. FaZe taking their time.
FaZe very hesitant, it would seem, to try and find an entry or two, but they've just been so unlucky in trying to be able to pick these up so far in this game. Nothing being found to find a clean way onto the site, and even when they just try to brute force their way in, SK are ready for them. They're able to hold the line and deny any of that pressure from working its way out onto the site.
They have been working down the utility, at least away from SK. That's the one bonus to this. They can make that hit, and hopefully, assuming they molly out Taco or at least play towards it, there must have been that thing, thought in the back of their mind, has someone snuck up to that corner? They should be able to work it out. They still have all the smokes themselves. They have a lot of flashes to go through, but Fox is just lingering towards it. Taco's going to take the flash as well, and that's the spray down lined up for him. He can't adjust well enough towards the second, allowing the trade out to come in, but 4 for 4 here, and it looks like you want to see FaZe now pushing that tempo further.
The drop play is going to be coming in too, as you can see from AZ working his way out, but Cold finding a first pick up there on Rain. FNX pushing out from the site too, just taps 2 away, Fallen with another one, and FaZe, they had a good primer but couldn't follow it up, and SK yet again just shut down FaZe's offense.
And you can never underestimate FNX on this map. It's one on the T side that maybe you'd look at him more on. His power towards opening up B can be hugely rewarding for SK, but you're seeing the power of him stopping them as they try and make that approach towards B. He wasn't phased at all. He wasn't pushed. He wasn't pressured. He was allowed to take those shots and not have any threat towards him. So again, FaZe struggling on that T side, and this is something Thorin even said on the desk to prelude this, was the fact that FaZe's T side has been a little bit underwhelming to a degree, and I think we're going to see that possibly kind of bleeding into this game so far.
And again, they're very straightforward with their opening push from FaZe, trying to move themselves out to the platform. Rain's already out, as you can see, hiding behind the smoke there, but they've taken some damage. Keo and Fox both being hit by nade damage there. But they did get themselves out. Now they've just got to find entryways onto the site, and with these just upgraded pistols, it's going to be hard to do that.
Lovely line of smoke, though, coming out for FaZe. That's going to give him a step towards this. coldzera's going to be pressured from the left. Rain takes him down. That's an AWP recovered. Bomb is planted. We're in a 4v4. This is possible. They can still bring this one up close and personal. AZ going to go on a little bit of a rotate here, and no one's watching it just yet. A couple of turning around now, and there's the fight. Fallen catches him out, and it's down to Jacob and Keo.
Moving back in, Jacob hold the line first, and that's a great shot against Fur, able to take him away. But still, SK are getting back control at a dangerous pace, but they need to do it just a little bit quicker. Keo still holding back up. There seems to be some hesitation from SK. Thankfully, Fallen gets the shot on the Jacob, and it's just Kiyoshima left alive with the upgraded pistol. So SK move in, they're gonna grab it. And although it's gonna be a close defuse, I believe Taco will be able to grab it, and that'll be SK still remaining flawless here, 6-0 against FaZe.
And that was looking marginally dangerous, considering the fact that SK had 0 utilities to come back in. You still had that AWP in play. Excuse me, they did have 1 flash, but it was played out pretty early. So again, that was almost on the verge, but these sort of rounds, a couple of players going down, of course, SK can reinvest. So basically what we're seeing now is the double AWP come out to play. Fallen generally kind of posturing towards A. coldzera put himself over towards B, and it makes this map even more robust for them. It becomes incredibly hard. But for FaZe, again, once back in, they do have the decent buy this time. They have everything they need. So if there's going to be a play that comes out that they need to make stick, it's this one.
They pressed the timer on that last round with SK going for that retake, but I think it's good because FaZe had a really good smoke setup, and they were being denied a lot of vision in that. So by holding back, it gave them time to let the smokes fade away and make sure that they were, going to have full confidence going back into the site, that nobody's surprised with the position from that smoke. So good on them. It did run the timer down a bit, but they still end up pulling it off.
See coldzera then just looking above the smoke, maybe seeing if a stack was coming out, a little bit of a boost anywhere. Going to relinquish that sort of aggressive stance, going to fall back a touch towards the B site, and looking over towards FaZe, they've got 1 minute and 18, plenty of time. And this is the sort of positioning we saw them utilize against Fnatic, for example. This is on Cbble, not the game that they won, bearing in mind, where everyone pressure dropped. They loved that drop pressure, but it didn't really amount to much. So going to have to take their time here. They've got the mollies to clear out the corners later than maybe they'd like to. Waiting to see if they go for it right about now. First flash comes out, they take the initial fight. FNX doesn't go down, he's sticking this out. Look at this guy, so confident, so wanting to take the fight. 1-for-1 goes down, but not too much gained or lost from this at the end of the day. FaZe haven't built off the back of it yet. Taco's still in a great position, and coldzera a little bit mindful now of drop.
Taco hiding in that cubby, that could be huge if they're not going to go to check for it, and they just go for the broken wall approach to it. Smoke's coming out now so they can cross. He'll be ready for them to move forward here, but he's going to be tested by Jacob in a second. He peeks it just to a slight degree, and on the repeak, takes down Taco. More on the way out, and it's been cold, who's been impacting in big ways with this op so far. Takes down Jacob, more pressure moving out from the wall, and Rain, and then Esse surprises from drop. Gold doesn't know which way to look, so 2 quick kills comes out yet again for FaZe, and Fox, hook, line, and sinker grabs the final one against Fur.
And Jacob's shoulder peek then coming through was absolutely integral for them to even make it out. That baited out the shot, of course, allowed them to get the information through. But yeah, no support coming in from drop at all. You saw Fallen still posted over by A, leaving that completely open. coldzera had so many angles to look at, but credit to FaZe for, even though just going 1-for-1 at the start, coming back in, finding ways to get themselves back in these rounds. 6-1. So the 16-0 is off the cards, at least. That's one, a little bit of worry in the back of their mind's gone. But yeah, this is certainly far from over yet. See if FaZe can now build off the back of this.
Double ops still for SK Gaming, and we've seen the power of that before. We've seen the power of that on a lot of teams, actually, but SK was probably one of the more notable ones that have been able to use it to such a large degree of success. And so far, it's been going great. FaZe possibly looking at a change-up this time, though, in the way that they're approaching the site. Going back to the A direction, at least at the beginning of this round, but of course, we know how quickly teams can change their mind. You know how quickly it is, how fast you are able, rather, to get yourself in a position to do that. But Fallen, looking for an opening shot, won't be able to find it, and probably will fall back to give FaZe a little bit of room to maneuver up, at least closer to the site.
Yeah, this double stack on long, though, is going to be pretty tough to break. They won't know first here, of course. He's going to be holding this one as long as possible. If a split comes through danger, then maybe he's in trouble, but they don't want to overextend. They're leaving Esse to this, basically. Leaving him there on his own. Fallen's backed away, and now he's going to be looking towards middle. This is good from FaZe. They're starting to pull maybe a couple of SK members out of those initial positions, making them start to work for this. But with 50 seconds left, eventually FaZe do need to make their push. They've retained as much of the work they can do in the form of utility. Ooh, Fallen just catching a bit of a step then from Jacob, who's made his way through towards danger. So Fallen can now no longer back away from A. He's stuck to this one for quite some time here. Has to support Fur in some way. So again, FaZe, you can see it already on the minimap, looking towards B, but Fur finding Esse might just spur this on. This might quicken the pace a little, and Taco's going to go up for this when the flash comes out. They're blinded. They're held in place. 26 seconds now. Taco, I don't think he saw Esse or just ignored him. He's going to go back for it. coldzera will find Rain. There's the spray down. Only catches out one, however, but coldzera, the perfect support from Chicken Coop, leaving just Jacob alive, and he's going to be left into towards drop. All eyes towards it. No escape. That's a lockdown from SK.
Good letting Cold take the attention first, as otherwise Taco might have found himself out in the open there. Still ends up getting traded, but it's an extra kill, and it makes the job that much easier from SK. Very quiet round from FaZe there, constantly keeping SK Gaming guessing as far as where the take was actually going to happen from. We could see FNX going back and forth in the site connector there when the execute was actually starting. But at the end of the day, again, the weakness from FaZe is coming out in the actual execute. They're unable to find the crucial entries to find a way onto the site. And from that point forward, they never really get any map control in the area.
Well, Moses said it, I think, pretty succinctly on the desk. The fact is that they don't trade effectively to the same degree that SK can for FaZe. They may get the 1-for-1, they might have a little bit of a shot, but it never goes much more than that. But coming back to that point later, coldzera taking a little bit of a brave peer down towards that B long area, but all of FaZe are still lining up for this. They might want to go back into it again. They've got the 2 Tech 9s, limited amounts to work with in the form of smokes and mollies and flashes, so they might as well try and make a bit of a dry hit out of this. A couple of pieces put to play, though. coldzera still pressured, still unscathed. Gonna be now looking to see what he can do. It's easy to find Fur, but now here comes the rest of the play from FaZe.
And it's all coming from the area over here towards the broken wall too. Cold was drawing a lot of attention to drop, but it's a bit unnecessary. And again, the staircase throwing him off a bit there. He'll be taken down. FNX quick on the draw to find a trade, so it'll be into a 2-on-2. But look at Esse, just walks right up. FNX not expecting that at all. It's a free kill. And all of a sudden, FaZe have the advantage here. Fallen has to fall back a bit. And they're gonna boost up too. This amount, we'll see if Rain walks into the shot, but Fallen's ready for it. He expects it. Nicely played from him. He'll be able to take down Rain, and it'll go down to a 1v1.
Look at Fallen right now. Is he going to do the god tier rotate? Oh, this is beastly. All right, what are you up to here, Fallen?
You should be able to find a rifle on the way over there. Yeah, you can
100%,
see.
100%.
There's plenty of bodies on the way, but in the unlucky event, there actually wasn't one to pick up. That would be an unfortunate decision.
And this is sterling play. This is going to keep AZ guessing for so long. You can maybe assume, oh, he's got the time to go for this sort of play, this sort of flank, but you can't instantly think that's his option. So now Fallen's got to step towards this, but I see no gun in his hand. I see no option. He's only got the P250. What the hell is this, Fallen? He's going to have to go into this. Too. Exactly, he's desperate to find one. He's looking left, right, and center, but AZ is still sticking close to the side, and he sees him. AZ waits it out, catches him off guard, and Fallen, it was a genius play only if you make it stick. Otherwise, you look a little silly just running around with the P250.
Throws away the optics so long to find an AK, and the timing on the pickup of the AK is so unfortunate because as soon as he picks it up, he does have an off angle against AZ, but the smoke fades away, and AZ checks from that direction, so catches him, gets the angle advantage, and thus FaZe do find their second round finally. And not only this too, but SK, despite their victories, these couple of sparing wins from FaZe has now essentially broken the SK economy. They have another full buy coming in, but beyond that, they only have $100 left between all 5 players.
A bit of a scrappy bind. This Keo as well, suffering himself down on the CZ. Fallen going to be pushed back off of long. No one quickly going to chase it from FaZe, so Fallen can just back away, but it does leave Fur a little more isolated, a little more vulnerable. He can back away for now. He's still got that smoke to put into place, but FaZe are allowing themselves to get more map control here. They're starting to filter through this one. They've got a good step now through towards middle. They've denied any initial peaks, really. So FaZe starting to build some control.
And now for FaZe Clan too, after making a bit of noise there down through the underpass. They're going to start to shift players back through the B halls yet again. And Fallen and Fur are still the primary players to hold on to that A site. Are going to need to rotate in quickly. There's a good presence here still on the B site, however. Using FNX inside of drop, and then Taco holding very, very close up to the broken wall with the shotgun. And if FaZe push out heavily with that smoke they've used to cover it, he could do some serious damage.
There's no disputing that Mag 7 can do some incredible work from that sort of spot, but he's got to be on point for it. And FaZe might be considering this. They might know that the money's looking a little bit dreary for SK, but again, this is 40 seconds, Blue. This is going to be a quick hit if they do eventually go for it.
They're ready to throw out the smokes now. We can see, trying to set it up. Waiting on the time a little bit, but it should be coming in at any moment. And Taco, of course, going to be the first player tested in that regard. AZ coming in a little bit late too, but there's a flashbang, and that holds the back. There's the first pickup right into the face of Kiyoshima, taking him down. More of them are stowed in. There's a second from Taco, hunting for a third now, trying to jump, but it's a bit messy. FNX did take down AZ in the process, but now more of them still being dispatched. The last one alive is going to be J-Gun, but he doesn't last very long. Cold, another great player that's been having such a huge amount of success on this B site, picks up 2 kills in that round.
A truly messy affair for FaZe then as soon as they tried to take on Taco with that Mag 7, just each of them peeking one by one. He was able to pick them apart. And well, that's a little bit disappointing for FaZe. They had SK almost on the ropes a little there. They had the money down a little lower. And now they know that they're kind of in the dumps. They've got the money that's pretty dreary, if I'm completely honest, for them. They've got a couple of Deagles, P250s, sporadic armor. It's far from ideal. And now you've got the double warps back out for SK. If anything, they're going to rebound even better off the back of this. And I don't think they need any additional help here.
Very aggressive from Fur too. Look at him pushing all the way outside of Long A, trying to see if he can hunt down a couple players early on and make the finishing job that much easier. Hasn't spotted Rain sitting below, but those Deagle shots are going to ring true and give away his position. So it's an easy pickup from Fur, and now he knows there's no one else outside in mid.
And Fallen doesn't need any assistance being a quick on the rotate player. He loves getting over it fast, and coldzera quick on the trigger. Catching out AZ. Now the drop attention going to be turned toward FNX, backing away from it. Doesn't want to take those close fights against the Tech-9s and such. He knows they're deadly, but he's got support there. He's got Fallen beside him. You've got FNX and Taco now watching the push out. coldzera as well, doing the same. And the turret will not be moved. Fox at least does a touch of damage, but this looks like a slaughter, and it is. Taco's there again. Just add insult to injury. Big 2 rounds from him coming out, denying FaZe any step towards building momentum into this game. 9-2 now. This is looking a little bit dire for FaZe.
One thing to respect for SK2 is you always notice teams either stick to one or the other when it comes to the way they play drop on the CT side, either very passively and just trying to hold the exit to it, or very actively by constantly having like a single player in there. It's shifted more to that passive role as of late, but they keep switching it up. There's rounds where they'll try to play it more passively and hold on the outside, but then they'll play someone like FNX on the inside on other rounds to try and provide a much more active role. So FaZe Clan never really know what they're going to get when they try to go for drop plays.
And speaking of not knowing what you're going to get, suddenly we have 3 players towards A. We have coldzera and Taco over by A, whereas FNX and Fallen are just going to be hitting up B themselves. So now Taco better be able to deal with this. He again has the flood of players towards him. He does do well. He gets 2, but eventually 4 over by Fox, and it does leave coldzera to be. You might want to be a little bit cautious here, maybe not. All right, go back for the peek with the AWP and allow FNX to come in from the back. Another very clean round coming out for SK, losing minimal players and gaining another on the board.
It just seems like SK have full control of the CT side at this point, and with FaZe not really impacting as well as we'd hoped, that spells bad things for them switching over to the second half. If they don't try to rack up at least a few more rounds here soon, then it may just prove to be impossible to round a comeback at all, and SK could be looking at an easy path through into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think when we first looked at this group, of course, I don't think anyone could call it an easy route by all means, but they are looking sterling so far in this matchup. A little bit of a, quite a step ahead from FaZe, to say not much more about that one. But let's see, come on FaZe. There's got to be more to these guys than this. Again, we doubted it on the, well, actually I didn't doubt on the desk, but a lot of the desk did doubt that this map could provide much. There is an incredibly high skill ceiling with FaZe, but to put it together against a team like SK, is quite hard to fathom. But Fallen, again, in a good spot here. Seeing if anyone can find a route through. He could be the first to do some deals of damage. However, Fur on long as well, going to be waiting ever so patiently. So adjustments again for SK, not just doing the same thing twice. Switching things up, and let's see if FaZe can capitalize on something here.
Going over to the A site, but already more frags coming out here for SK as Fur takes down Fox. Not only that, but that's the bomb too, so they need to move in and take full site control. Fallen doing work with the op. He does miss that shot, so a trade comes in, but Fur is still holding on the exit to long A. Takes down Jacob. We can see Keo trying to turn it around. It'll actually be Esse that finds the kill, but again, there's those trades that Moses was talking about. It's still so heavy in the favor of SK. Esse, the last one running, just walks right out to the open while he's full flashed, and Cold is going to take him down 11-2 as we continue forward into the closing rounds of the half.
And Fur was allowed so much time on long then, with just that smoke into play. No one, well, I think there's one player on long, but no one pressured him at the end of it. He was able to spot over by Fallen. By that time, everyone came back from B. SK just have everything under wraps here. This is not great for FaZe. Looking for any opportunity to get into this one now. 2 rounds is just simply not good enough. These guys, sure, they can probably mount comebacks, but not against SK at these sort of very deciding markers. This is going to be a very tough battle for them in any way, shape, or form now. So Fur soloing out on the A side. He's got all those Tech-9s running towards him. It could be an absolute massacre, and it's looking like it was going to begin like one, but eventually pulled back into play by Esse. Now they've got to step towards the site. Fallen's a little bit later here than usual, but everyone else is coming through as well.
FNX moves in, but there's another trade. Rain taking down FNX, and that'll be an upgraded gun going into their hands. Fallen, he's going to get overwhelmed. Cold finding another retrieve there as he takes down Rain, but we're into a 2-on-2, and SK doesn't really have a whole lot of ground to initially work with, but FaZe prioritized the site. They're both stuck up there on the platform right now, and Cold moving his way in. There's another pickup against Esse. It's just Jacob left up and running, and he's stuck in a corner. It's coming in his direction. Molly gonna go to burn him right out of that position, and Taco is gonna take him down. So another retake comes in from SK, and they continue to barge forward against FaZe and earn their spot in the quarterfinals.
Another great retake coming out from SK. It feels almost rare to see them at this point. They haven't had to do it too often, but when they do, it still looks so proficient at this point. They still look so well-rounded, precise, decisive in the way they're doing it, playing out well, even splitting up those 2 players to 2 individual 1v1s in essence. And look at that scoreboard, Keo. Not a good game for you, buddy. 1-14. He's struggled before on this map, actually, against Fnatic it was, when they had that rather deadly 16-0, but how much can you do in that sort of instance? But still, this is not the time you want to be having those bad games. We saw others recover, some not so much so. 12-2, as said, it looks like FaZe are running out of options here and running out of rounds to play with, of course, and Fox looking to do something. Colt says no. Rain just gets removed from beside him. And now we're down to a 5v4 so early on.
Such a quick flick from Cole to adjust for that position, and Rain trying to tuck away in the corner. That does not prevail at all, and FaZe already down a man. We can see the quick attempt at a smoke set up into this site. We'll see how well it goes. Molotov responses coming out from the CTs. Good flashes, gives them some opening room to work with as Keo presses forward, and there's a start. Jacob finding FNX, Fox with another one, but there's Taco up on top. Nobody trying to punish him at all. There's that surprise from Keo, though, pushing in from the smoke, and he's going to find 2. Fallen catches the trade, and we'll be into a 1-on-1. Jacob, though, he's heavily injured, down to 29 HP. And it might just be easy to close out, but the upshots! It's Jacob actually that finds it. And there we have it, FaZe. A little bit of a signal at the end of that one, a bit of light at the end of the tunnel possibly. Still though, 12-3 is gonna be very hard to come back from.
Yeah, incredibly condemning first half here. FaZe showing small signs of life, but that is it for the first half. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be back after a very short break. Scoreline has been looking pretty darn good for SK so far. FaZe getting off to a pretty disastrous start here. Merely claiming 3 rounds in that first half. So much more has to be seen from them to even get a step back into this game. But SK are looking so dominant here, Blue.
coldzera, an absolute monster on that B bomb site, but it's not just him, it's the entire team solidifying that setup. Such well-formulated CT sides to work with here. Good trades coming out in all directions here. Even when one teammate falls, 2 more show up from SK to try and shut down FaZe. And they got, to be completely honest, absolutely nowhere. A couple clutches here and there, but overall, no really solid executes. SK just continued to brutalize them throughout that entire half. Now they'll jump onto the T side, though, and that, of course, is where things get a little bit more interesting here. As a FaZe brings a bit more stronger of a CT side, maybe we'll see them bounce back, but if not, SK, well, they could just run away with this game.
Yeah, sadly for FaZe, they have been pretty hushed thus far, but has to start somewhere, and the pistol will be the beginning point for them for FaZe. It will be them starting out, of course, on the CT side this time around. They started out on the T to the first. So going back into things, it has to start from the very beginning. With this such of a small margin of error to be given, you can imagine SK to be a little bit more brazen, a little bit more brave, a little bit more, I guess, even more flair to their playstyle, if you want to say it that way. But still, 3 rounds, we're going to be back into this one. Keo with the CZ straight away. We've got Fallen with the Molly and 2 flashes. Beyond that, it looks like SK have a very synced game plan in mind, a very quick focus towards that B hit, and already they're down drop.
Why give them any room to breathe? Taco, he'll find that first pickup, but there is a response from Fox, and not only this, but Rain holding too. A bit of trouble in the SK camp as they move in. FNX, the most recent victim, and Taco going down too, but they hold it together, bringing it down to an even battle at the end of the day, and boxing out the final 2 FaZe members, both of them trying to push in through drop, but Cold now very aggressively pushing up to try and hold them in that doorway. As now they move forward here, trying to find a way out, both working together, but they've got to be very, very careful. Cold hanging out around the corner, but they found him. Rain able to execute, and now it's just Fallen. He's going to play a bit of ring around the rosy. The first target that was caught while he's midair, so it's hard to aim it, as nowhere but to look. And for Kiyoshima, he'll be able to move in, taking down Fallen, and giving FaZe a little bit of hope here to start off the second half.
That was a 4-on-2 in favor to FaZe at the start of that, really, so...
Okay.
What? Rain, why'd you have to be like this? I know he had a bad half, but...
Doesn't even take the CZ?
No, he just, no,
just leaves
this is
it
what
there.
you get. That's how you get people in line, you know, just a brutal backhand. But yeah, that was a 4-on-2, went down to the 2-on-2. And actually the crossfire setup from SK was pretty decent, but coldzera looked so hungry to get involved in that, and eventually did just work out Rain. I don't think...
I think
how did that hit?
Definitely an accident.
Suddenly, you know, The defusal hitboxes in CS are looking even weirder. All right, in case that needed to happen. 12-4 though, scoreline-wise. FaZe have a very small lifeline here, and I mean small by the biggest of margins.
So here we go. Again, SK, look at how quickly they line themselves up. Grenades and all that are already pushing in, but they're going to fall back. They're going to wrap back around here. So moving over towards drop as Fur's going to go in. They might go for the split play here to try to push over to the A site instead. Chasing some members of FaZe, but no luck to be found at all in that regard. Rain picking up a kill, but 2 more come back out from SK. Cold and Taco. A good nade from Kiyoshima takes down Taco at the very least, but again, it's even at a 3-on-3.
Unbridled aggression from SK, but now it's going to be met by some sheer force. AZ has enough of what Cold Zero's up to, and that's the bomb. Bomb gets dropped. Jacob, though, just gets pinned in the air. It's like the LG and Quake just knocks him up. That's not going to be happening too often. Now down to the 2v2. SK do at least have the bomb, but AZ's going to hear that. Goes for the fight instantly and wins it out. That is almost game-changing at this point. Fallen's chances now are exceedingly slim.
Tried to move away from that in hopes of running to the site, but didn't realize just how close FaZe were holding that bomb. So a bit unfortunate there that he wasn't able to take the closer battle. And now Fallen at the moment trying to contemplate how he would like to approach this. Moving his way towards it slowly. There won't be anyone actively trying to stop him, but they jump out now, taking the battle. The Molly's ready, but a bit late on tossing it out there. AZ just going to walk right up, find him with a nade in hand, and it's an easy kill to end the round for FaZe.
Yeah, AZ dousing that incredibly fiery style, let's say, for SK here. Not going to be able to get off to the bang that they wanted. FaZe just going to be holding on strong, keeping them, pushing them back. And we're going to see a big SMG purchase here, trying to get as much money as possible for FaZe. They know that they need their economy to be as strong as possible. They need all the money they can get. They cannot do at all with losing rounds here. There's so much of a small margin to start out with. So this is the prime round for it. 2 pure SMGs, I guess, and the UMP does so much deals of damage if you even had some form of armor in comparison to all the other SMGs, but none to be seen on SK. They are going in pretty much dry and just shimmying through towards drop. What? What, Taco? That's just a double drive-by. That's ridiculous. Rain and AZ. Oh, not like this. This is absolutely obscene play from SK. This is the round you do not win, and this is the round that they're going to. Fur destroys Fox and Keo. Walk away in shame, because that is not a round you want to remember.
Jacob completely messing up the spray there when they pushed themselves out of the platform, and it was looking so promising, and this was such a pitiful buy from SK. Keep in mind, they threw away their opportunity to go for a 3rd round full buy by forcing up on the 2nd, but they were still able to move in here with just P250s for the most part, and still shut down FaZe. This round's already over. At this point, Kiyoshima is looking to save now. So many positions being messed up, and such a great opener from Taco. Now all of a sudden, things are not looking so great. Keo trying to keep himself alive. Picks up at least 1 kill here, but down at 8 HP. They know exactly where he is. They're hot on his tail, and Fallen just jumps right out there with his newly found SMG. He's going to take down Kiyoshima, and SK get right back onto the winning train.
What an absolute shambles. Look at Taco here. That's ridiculous. All right, Taco, well played. He just opens up that map completely for them, and the rest, hell, they deliver too. There's no taking that away from them. But 13-5 now. FaZe, if there was any momentum, any happiness, a small smile starting to creep onto any of their faces, that's going to be gone pretty much instantly. And I think this is a tactical timeout. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's Robin in the background talking more than anyone else. I don't really see much coming from the actual FaZe side. For SK, though, they can just sit there and remember that round as long as they want to.
Absolutely. And we could see there, too, I think it was from AZ that was trying to throw the smoke back inside. They were not expecting that much brute force aggression to come out from Taco. He just rolls right out. And that first kill basically tolls the bells for AZ to also get eliminated there, too, because he's caught red-handed with no guns at all to try and pick that back up. So those first 2 kills come out nicely, and then that combined with the messed up spray on the platform allows SK to get good control, and from that point forward, the rest of the dominoes just topple back down. And the problem here is that the pause being taken this late, even if they have a massive recovery, they still have such a long way to go to find their way. 8 rounds behind SK, and SK just a simple 3 away from closing out this map and making it through the groups.
Yeah, that shame bell being told more than anything at this point. Yeah, FaZe can't be happy with that one. It is indeed a tactical timeout just being confirmed to us by FaZe, and I guess the argument can be made, would you have won it in the first half? I don't know, it's pretty decisive, but FaZe needs something here, and it is a best of 1, bearing in mind. This is a fact of it. So if there is any time to do it, it's going to be right about now. Keo seemingly charming up a touch in this one, which is always good to see. In the little bit of a pre-roll, he did say that he's becoming a little bit more vocal in this towards the team, but it looks decisively like Roman is telling them what the hell is going wrong, and, well, it's going to take a while.
Not only all these factors too, but another big issue is that FaZe Clan, if they end up losing this, so we assume they lose it, who's their opponent going to be? Either G2 or Fnatic, and it's going to be in a best of 3. So that's the worst part about all of this. Not just that they're going to lose this game and not get the higher seed into the group, but that they have to go up again in a best of 3 against one of those 2 teams, which have been still on a pretty hot streak as of late.
Yep. Oh, this is one of those games. All right, FaZe. I'm seeing the buy here as well, which you guys can't see just yet. When it comes out, you'll have a look at it too. So an interesting one to say the least. Gonna go back in with everything they can. No other ways of saying it. I'm wondering if actually, so just to talk you through it, because we can see it at the moment. Esse putting himself on the AWP over Fox. As we sat on the CZ, so maybe Esse, I'm not sure if he's got a better spawn or any reason. He's just like, no, I want to take it. He's got a decent spawn toward long, but he's not even looking towards it. So maybe just feeling, I need this. Get out of here, Fox, I don't care. Everyone else on the CZs, the 5-7s, buying into what they can, but this is a very limited purchase and they're gonna have to do something incredible here. Hey, SK did it before, but I don't see it happening twice in one game.
Well, we're getting into the mix of things now. FaZe moving out, trying to hold on to this site with 4 alive and 4 in position to try to hold, but with force-ups, it's going to be a bit rough. Thankfully for them, SK, at the very least, are giving them a bit of respect at the beginning of this round. They're holding back. They're not pushing into the site just yet, but even a bit of fidgetness coming out on FaZe. Already moving Kiyoshima back over to the A site in the event they try to go for a push on here, but for now, things staying very static, and SK are just going to hold in their positions to run the timer down a bit.
And it's pretty much on Esse here, in my eyes at least. He has the weapon to do all the damage with, and everyone else trying to support around him, play positions that could actually help him out here, but Esse going to be smoked off into a bit of a worse spot, to say the least, or if he went in towards a spot to try and find a shot towards Taco, Taco was already pre-firing it, and coldzera is waiting patiently as well. Esse, he's got to play this right, and it's such a small margin to play it right and also get caught out. He's just seen the step come across, so might need to back away from this soon. He's being a little bit strong-headed to stick out this long, but again, he can do a lot of work from this spot, but it is forcing SK to maybe just think, well, if he's going to be this present, let's say, on B, why don't we just test the waters by A? They've got 30 seconds still.
And now moving back over, Fallen leads the charge a bit cautiously with only 27 seconds left on the clock. Moving again Fox to hold it along with Kiyoshima, but not Kiyoshima anymore as it's cold again. Big player in this matchup, able to take down that first strike. FNX moving and actually having a bit of trouble taking down Rain. And Jacob moving back into the main doorway. Him and Fox picking up 2 kills for the CT side. 10 seconds left to get on that site, but they're having trouble doing even that. 2 more frags for FaZe, and the attempt at a plant comes out from Taco, but it's too late. That hesitation from SK to try and psych out FaZe ends up backfiring, and they do not leave themselves enough time to even move on to that site.
Yeah, that really was a lot of hesitation, considering normally how decisive they are with their plays towards the site, maybe second-guessing themselves. Once they saw Esse by A, they're like, well, maybe not where we want to go. We've got the AWP there, you know, they've got the AWP there, excuse me. Let's try something else. And credit to FaZe to be able to deal with those players coming at them with rifles with full utility. So more than anything, FaZe just worked for that. So looking at what's happened now, SK's money is far from perfect. They've got the Deagles, they've got the Tech-9. However, coldzera still with the AWP and Taco with a rifle. There's still a lot to be seen in this round, a lot to be said for this team working with less than perfect forms, let's call it that way, as Jacob, Esse, and Rain will be waiting on the B site. But again, SK, they like to run that clock down. They're not, you know, those super fast teams. They don't want to just run at things. They can make FaZe sweat a little bit in this one.
We still have a pretty heavy committal to the A site, though, so in the event, it's going to be straightforward from SK to drop down here. The reinforcements need to come in quickly, but FaZe clan are so heavily pushed in, like Kiyoshima with a shotgun and suicide steps and whatnot. It's going to take a long time for those rotations to come in, and these guys have not been so great in opening duels, at least judging from their T side. Still something that would, in theory, carry over to the other half now. So to begin things, it's still very slow from SK, holding it back now. Molotov going to come in Taco's direction, actually is hitting him, so he has to use his smoke to stay in that corner, not get opted out by a player that could be hiding by the boxes.
And it looks like SK, as soon as they wanted to go, nice little counter flash came out, slowed him down again, down to 50 seconds, and the lower that clock gets, the better FaZe feel about things. They've still got a little bit of utility to halt any big attacks. Only coldzera with the smoke at the moment. 1 flash with Taco. First got himself a nice little spot here, but completely flashed up. Esse makes the most of that. A really clean, quick pick up there for him, and Jacob dancing with the idea of this. You've got to be careful, though. The 2 players who can do the most damage are just behind that smoke.
And they are taking their time on SK, but it makes a lot more sense this time since they're not at an advantage. But look at Jacob from that position, cold! Doesn't even matter! Gets him up in the face, and Taco tapping away, finds Esse with some support from Fallen. Fallen wrapping around, he messes that up, though Rain's able to take him down, but it's Taco and FNX again that move back in. 2 quick kills coming back out from those players. Kiyoshima is the last one, and here's that problem with the rotate that we were talking about. Takes him so long to get here, and well, he's a player with a shotgun, so with that range, what hopes he's gonna do? He does find it up, but with a 1-on-3 and such little intel for post plants, there's no way he's going to be able to justify attempting that. Time to fall away, let SK grab the 14th round, and at least carry that up into the next one.
Coldzera hitting that shot. That could have changed, not necessarily the whole outcome, but that could have made such an awkward situation arise if that had worked out for them. But Coldzera hitting a pretty ridiculous shot there, keeps that one in tow. Taco then comes into the matter, but FaZe just being a little outdone here, and Keo is running the hell away as far as he can do. He wants to keep that AWP so desperately. No one's chasing too far. Taco, Coldzera, and FNX, of course, want to keep these rifles themselves. Their money was looking pretty low as well. They were only on, what, 1 rifle and 1 AWP in that round. So you can already see the other players are on like 3.5, 3.6. Really not perfect. Jacob's got to be livid.
Perfect headshot, too.
I would be so gutted if that was me. That's one of those rounds you sat there's like, what more can I do? It's pretty insane, and I think we're seeing a little bit of a cause and effect here, considering we'd be down to 3 Mag 7s, a CZ for FaZe, and the AWP that was retained from Keo passed over towards Fox. On the other side, SK with everything. They've got that full set of everything they want to bring into this round. So the game is certainly in their hands, but FaZe can still do work. They have done in the past. They've turned rounds like this, but it's been few and far between.
This is indeed basically a Hail Mary buy coming out from FaZe with the shotguns, hoping they can grab these close battles and drop by the broken wall and suicide steps, as you can see from Keo. But the odds of them getting all of that combined is going to be so low. And now SK have switched up the game plan again. It's moving its way over towards Long A to push over out onto that site. And you'll leave Kiyoshima along with Fox as your main defenders to try and hold this back as SK continue to bring this forward. Even after a bit of a slip up there, which messed up their economy, they immediately battle it back and now have the lead going in their favor yet again.
I would argue at least they have Fox there with the AWP, so the potential for turning something into the favorable side of FaZe is in the right place for now. However, Cold having such a colossal impact into this matchup so far is going to make that seem a little bit of a fast stretch, but Keo's going to be waiting on the corner. They're trying to make the most of what that Mag 7 can achieve, and it can do damage. Fallen likes to play up here himself on it, but it's FNX just to punish him straight away. So information comes flooding in, but by now it's all in the hands of Fox, Rain, AZ, Jacob, all coming over, but by now SK already starting to approach the site.
Boxing the rest of FaZe out too. They've got to try to go back on top, but just FNX and Fur closing out the kills. AZ and Fox both go down. It's Rain and Jacob to try and hold this, but what hope do they have? All these kills have been out on the site. It's not even like they could try to retrieve too many guns from their teammates there. They're stuck with these shotguns. Rain at the very least is a CZ, but it's just not going to end up working out for them in this situation. But they've already tried saving. That didn't really end up working out too well, as the AWP was barely used whatsoever here. They've gotten a few players low. There's just so little room to work with. And SK are almost definitely going to be taking this round.
Scoreline going to be 15-6. As Rain and Jacob probably just trying to hold on to this more than anything. If they can get exits, if they can get something away, that'd be brilliant. But first, having absolutely none of it. Rain, what was he watching then? I don't know what he was placed for if that was the case, because I don't know, maybe just assuming someone could come through drop at some point, but first found both of them. Maybe
looking for like someone trying to wrap all the way around and try to kill them coming out from drop room, but that's a bit of a long shot, and it's still much more likely that they would just come directly at them, I would assume anyway. But at the end of the line here, FaZe looking sloppy in all sorts of places, and SK looking extremely solid. Coldzera having an amazing game here, 23-9 at the moment. And with only one more round, they're going to be moving on into the playoff stage, playing on our big stage in the Lanxess Arena.
Yep, SK know what's in mind. They've said that they're incredibly motivated for this event, and read into that what you will, but they have turned up and they've looked good at this one so far. But it's not over yet. There are still rounds to be played out, assuming FaZe can do something here. If you want to go through it statistically, it's not looking likely at 6 rounds into their pocket, but FNX already dancing with danger there as Rain's just lurking on the side of that smoke, but the rest of SK postured to try and make that B hit happen. Rain gonna step into it. 6 shot from Rain will at least find FNX, but now what else can be done? Can anyone else provide that sort of deal, damage that he's done there across the board?
Fallen creeping into nothing to be seen just yet, but if Keo presses forward enough to try and hug the broken wall, it may become an easy target for Fallen, as there is not a lot of pressure watching for a drop play right now. Looking his way out more, and Rain watching outside of the window too. There's Fallen though, spots the gun of Keo. Takes his arm right off there as it picks up another kill. And this should open the way path for the rest of SK to move in. He still has to be a bit careful of Rain moving in behind him, but still fragging as Jacob also goes down. And now the rest of these players can easily push out on the site.
Fallen limb by limb, tearing apart FaZe here. There's another one gone, as now it's down to Fox in a 1v4. Hell, he's in a good spot, but it's not good enough here. 4 players, a bomb plant about to be put into place. This would be hero level of performance if he comes up with the goods, and already Fallen looking for more. Coldzera's there to back him up, and there it is, sealing the deal. Coldzera closes it down. 16-6, a decisive victory for SK in this one. Looking pretty much unscathed coming out of this matchup. Again, focusing themselves now towards those playoffs.
Definitely looking in repeat form based on their last major performance and wanting to come in and try to get a second major title here at Cologne under a new team name, but definitely not a new team performance as SK still bring their A game. coldzera having a very impressive CT side at half, and not only this, but Taco also stepping up big time with some amazing entries on the T side.
A lot of talent shown there by the SK boys, but ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we still have a couple more games coming up for you this evening, but do stay tuned. We'll be back with an interview with Red Eye after the break.